entire economy. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a session which is supposed to get us awake and lead us to the direction what we are hoping to go for. I am greatly privileged to have with us this afternoon somebody who has got an illustrious career as a diplomat, but not only just a diplomat. Dr. Mohammad Marie Zahran is a PhD in public law from the Paris University, and he has served in the Department of International Organizations, International Economic Affairs, Research and Advisor, twice to the Egyptian Foreign Minister and the Egyptian embassies and diplomatic missions in Paris. We are extremely lucky to have somebody with us who not only understands the West, the East, but most importantly, the world where we stand. Sir, it is my distinguished pleasure to request you to come and give your keynote address.
Dr. Maria Sultan, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, I wish to express special thanks and appreciation to Dr. Maria Sultan, Chairperson and President of the South Asia Strategic Stability Institute University, for her kind invitation to me to be a speaker in this August Assembly. This meeting will focus and is focusing on the opportunities of enhancing the Egyptian-Pakistani relations that are being entertained since many decades. The two countries have been engaged in various fields of cooperation since the independence of Pakistan. They diversified such cooperation in the political, economic, social, cultural, and artistic fields. Since the Friendship Agreement of 1951, the two countries were having harmonious relations and close cooperation in all fields. Since then, the two countries entered into significant economic relations and trade exchanges aimed at promoting the economic benefits for the two peoples. In this context, Egypt and Pakistan concluded a number of economic, trade, and investment agreements, such as the Protocol on Technical, Scientific, and Agricultural Cooperation of 1975, the 1989 Agreement on increasing agricultural cooperation and productivity through the exchange of experiences between the two countries, the 1995 Agreement to enhance cooperation in maritime transport and to avoid double taxation, as well as the agreements related to tourism and the promotion and protection of investment in the subsequent years. It is noteworthy to refer to the tripartite cooperation between the three countries, Egypt, Pakistan, and the United States, concluded in February 2010, through which Egypt transfers its expertise to Pakistan in the areas of economic and financial reform in order to support its capacity building program. In the field of culture, cooperation was entertained through a number of cultural agreements. To date, there are many grants offered by Egypt to the Pakistani students and researchers, in addition to grants extended by the Egyptian International Center for Agriculture and the Egyptian Ministry of Justice. I think the voice is out. The Egyptian Ministry of Justice. Scholarships were also offered to Egyptian students to continue their postgraduate studies in the Pakistani universities. In the context of supporting these elections, the two countries adopted the Executive Program for Scientific and Technological Cooperation for the years 2010-2012. And an MOU was signed between the Egyptian Diplomatic Institute and its Pakistani counterpart in the same year, that is 2012. Ladies and gentlemen, the cooperation between the two countries has not been limited to purely bilateral relations, but also cover multilateral relations. The two countries share common coordination thanks to their affiliation to NAM, Non-Aligned Movement, the Islamic Cooperation Organization, the Group of 77 in China, and the Friends of Democratic Pakistan, FODP. This simply is a clear indication of the affinities enjoyed by the two countries in terms of interests and coordination, which necessitates enhancing constant coordination and consultation between the two sides in New York, Geneva, Vienna, and elsewhere. There are close consultations between the two delegations of Egypt and Pakistan to synchronize common positions on the political, security, disarmament, energy, human rights, labor, trade, and economic fields, among others. Last but not least, I would like to stress one of the most common challenges faced by the two countries, namely the issue of terrorism. The danger of this phenomenon threatens the security and stability of the two peoples. The two countries had a great deal of consultation in this area, since they both confronted politically and from the security perspective. In this context, I would like to pay a tribute to the meetings held by the two sides at the highest level, during which both parties reiterate their genuine efforts in fighting extremism and terrorism. Ladies and gentlemen, the current changes in the international and regional maps require further cooperation and coordination in many areas, including the Chinese BRI. Our two countries have many opportunities to facilitate and strengthen such cooperation, including through the BRI, which was launched by the President of China, as it is being extended through South China Sea to South Asia, the Red Sea, and through the Suez Canal to Europe. Finally, I'm gratified by the fact that our brothers and sisters from Pakistan are visiting Egypt now, interacting with my Egyptian colleagues, whether belonging to the government or civil societies, to which I belong as a chair of ECFA, Egyptian Council for Foreign Affairs, to celebrate the 70th anniversary of the Egypto-Pakistani diplomatic relations that will be further promoted through the Chinese initiative, BRI, to solidify our partnership for development. I wish you constructive deliberations. I'm sorry that I have to leave earlier because the schedule has been pushed a little bit late. So in 15 minutes, I have to leave you, unfortunately. Thank you very much.
Excellency. Excellency, thank you so much for helping us with matching the time, and I do apologize for being late. But this just puts extraordinary pressure on the speakers to keep in time. And now I shall request His Excellency Vice Admiral Sir Sayyid Arifullah Hussaini. He is one of the most decorated senior officers of the Pakistan Naval Armed Forces, and he is also commanded PNS Zulfikar and PNS Tariq, which are bigger flagship ships, fleets for Pakistan. And today he'll be speaking about the emerging dynamics of Pakistan and what it means to have this new transformation from sea towards economic development.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen wa salatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya wal mursaleen. When the going gets tough, the tough get going. So I have been given a very tough mandate to talk in very limited time. So I'll talk fast and I'll skip things. Basically, I wanted to highlight, because I'm standing here not in the capacity of a naval officer or a representative of the government or an official, but I am a private businessman. And I am talking to you from the point of view of a businessman, because actually building partnership and transforming trade is the job of the businessman, corporate sector, and people. They are the ones who have to do it. The enabling environment is provided by the governments, and sometimes they think they have provided the enabling environment, whereas that is not an enabling environment, it is a disenabling environment. So an interaction between the business community, the people who matter, and the government is very, very essential. I'm really gratified to be here in this great city and to be celebrating the 70 years of our diplomatic relations. But relations between our civilization is much older. We have always remained connected, the Indus Valley and the Nile Valley, and we have developed a very similar mirror image of each other. Our aspirations are same, so our destiny is same. And to me, our destiny is as flashed. The people may prosper. Whatever we do, the main objective is that the people must prosper and attain their rightful and honored place among the nations of the world and make their full contribution towards international peace, progress, and happiness of humanity. And this is also the vision given in our Constitution. Now, prosperity comes from trade. Trade gives best dividend because trader takes the produce or the products to the place of value. And we must promote trade. When you impede trade, you destroy the humanity, you destroy the products, and they go to the lesser value. Now in this age, there is a super connectivity being created. That connectivity is coming from the power of information technology. The power of chip is doubling every 2 years, Moore's law. And that has given a mainframe computer, it has brought a mainframe computer into my hand, and now the mainframe computer will be there in my eye. So this is the kind of connectivity which information technology has given us. Information for trade is available. The second thing is the physical connectivity, which comes from the road, railway network, channels or canals, bridges, trains, ships. What today a ship carries, few years back, decade back, you needed 10 ships to carry. So the infrastructure also has to be upgraded. Egypt is improving its infrastructure. Pakistan is also improving its infrastructure. And I think the Belt and Road Initiative has really created that super connectivity. This is not just a slogan, this is not just a word, this is a very powerful concept. The American gained their supremacy by making interstate highway network. Now this initiative is creating a connectivity across continents through land, air, and sea. So it is far bigger initiative, and this is really going to transform the world. CPEC is one of the links and a major and the most important link of, as you have heard this morning. Thank you, sir. So the land, roads, network is being connected by the sea, and CPEC becomes the central, like Suez Canal is connecting Mediterranean with the Indian Ocean. Pakistan is quite pivotal. I will not much emphasize it because it has already been emphasized. And our visionary leader, the great leader, Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah, he was interviewed by a live correspondent, Margaret White, not Sita White. Pakistan is the pivot of the world, and as we are placed, and it is really, it has proved, the history has proved that it is pivot of the world. And by virtue of this CPEC, it is becoming land of emerging opportunities. It has always been hub of trade in the ancient times. This map flashes it, and since less time, I will not dwell upon it. And today, we are connected, Central Asia, China, Indian Ocean, Middle East, West Asia. And also this morning, I read in Pakistan newspaper Tribune that our Honorable Prime Minister has said that regardless of relationship, we are going to trade with India. Now this is a very bold step because trade really begets peace and understanding. So we are not averse to trade. We are trade-friendly people because our history from 5,000 years is linked with the trade. This is just to highlight that all the oil flows in the Indian Ocean, and inshallah with the new Suez Canal coming, the super tankers might pass from here. And that is going to be a bonanza for Egypt. Pakistan also has oil, but it is very strategically located in terms of pipelines, gas pipelines and other energy things. What is our real advantage, which is your real advantage also, is population. 60% of the population is below 28 years, and we don't have old people. You know, I am above 54, so I'm living on bonus in Pakistani standards because 95% of the people are less than 54 years of age. So the entire population is a working population. This is a slide, I'm just saying anybody interested in Pakistan's investment policy, I have the policy with me which has been published by Federation of Pakistan's Chamber of Commerce and Industry. They can take it from me, but the thing is that we have full protection to the investments. There will be no double taxation. NOCs are much more easier, and in agriculture sector you can make 60% of investment. Similarly, constructions, finance and banking. These are some of the areas where investment is needed. And this is our expected growth rate, which is going to be anyway above 5%. So Pakistan is a promising land, a country where it will be very beneficial that we can trade. But for trade, we need certain linkages. And I am recommending this. My recommendation is the most important thing, and I will ask the officials here and all those people to let's work on it. Create a joint think tank to impel trade and commerce-friendly policy. Impelling policy is one of the reasons I made nation-building initiative. Our main purpose is to impel government policies so that growth is there in the country. Create a joint forum to promote business to business contacts and e-commerce. Joint efforts to harness advanced technologies. If we do not harness technologies, we will be lag behind. So what Ambassador also said here, that we have to learn the new technologies and cooperate. Egypt to assist Pakistan in promoting Arab language. A lot of people want to learn Arabic language. I'll tell you a small story. I was shopping in Beijing in Khunchao market. There's a toy shop. So when I was shopping, a European gentleman came to me and he said, "Can I help you?" So I said, "No, I can talk with the Chinese because there are many ways of negotiations. We do some of your business not knowing Mandarin." But then I asked him, "How can you help me?" He said, you see, I speak Arabic and my wife speaks Chinese. I said, "What's in it? Why so?" He said, "Because all the optimists in China are learning Arabic, and all the optimists in France are learning Arabic, and all the pessimists are learning Chinese. So together we are going to hold our business." So language plays a very important thing in trade and development of industries and commerce and everything. So we want to promote Arabic language in our country, and that's where Egypt can help us a lot. Student exchange program and regular interaction of academia and students. Invest in Pakistan, particularly with respect to CPEC, because that's what it is. And I thank you, and I hope I have not taken a lot of time.
I request Major General Mohammad Samray Saleh, who is a graduate of Defense and Strategic Studies, and during his 29 years of service, he has worked in different positions. But the reason today he stands with us in this gathering is that he is one of the foremost experts which we have on the China-Pakistan economic corridor, and he shall be talking about in terms of how these trade routes actually lead towards regional connectivity and how they can actually be the bridge which we are looking for. So, General.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Ladies and gentlemen, excellencies, assalamu alaikum and very good afternoon. At the outset, I would like to thank Dr. Maria for providing me this opportunity to speak to this august gathering. Are we running the slides?
Are they running the slides?
Just the first one. No, the last, yes. So I think Murphy is there to haunt me.
Well, what we can do is that we can request the next speaker till your slides are sorted out, or you'd like to continue.
Okay. I think we can change the sequence.
Yes, if that's okay. Usually they say the general's word is the last one, but in this case, we'll request him to speak a little later. May I kindly request Mr. Ahmed Zuhair, who's the Director for the Ministry of Investment and International Cooperation, GAFI, of the Arab Republic of Egypt, to please kindly come forward. He has been one of the most forthcoming people which we have met in Egypt. I am doubly grateful for having you at this forum. Thank you so much, Mr. Ahmed Zuhair.
So, Good afternoon. Your Excellency, Minister of Planning, distinguished panelists. My name is Zuhair. I'm from the Investment Promotion Agency. Today, I will give you a quick overview on the latest development of the business environment with a special emphasis on the investment law. Please, presentation, please. So till the presentation comes, then I'm quite sure that all of you are aware of what Egypt experienced over the last couple of years, back to 2011, where Egypt had experienced the first uprising, and since then, all the economic indicator had been dropped significantly. In a sense, we were growing by less than 2%. With the first sign of political stability, you can see hopefully when the presentation comes, that I will show you exactly how the economy had been responded positively on the political stability. But most importantly, that to understand that Egypt at that time started to apply for the new vision, which is 2030. Her Excellency Minister Hala Saeed already highlighted, and also Assistant to the Minister of Foreign Affairs already touched base upon that. What is the 2030 vision? So what is the objective of that? This vision has so many pillars: economic, political, social, human capital, a lot of pillars. But our concern today is the economic pillar, which is very important for everybody to understand what the government is doing and where we are heading. And these visions already put on a very clear strategic target to achieve the sustainability and inclusive high growth, of which we want to be the hub for trade and investment in the entire area, Mediterranean and South and the African continent. So how to do that? If we have a vision, if we have a vision to put Egypt as a trade and investment hub in the entire regions, so what we have to do in order to reach to that goal? So we started with three main pillars. First one is the infrastructures. What we have done in the infrastructures, just for you to know that on the last 3 years, we have added more than 5,000 kilometer lengths in routes to connect major city, port, industrial zone with the highway, with non-stop highway. So we added in 3 years, we added nearly 5,000 kilometers, and we upgraded around 3,000. And this is to connect all the major cities and the seaport and the airport. Secondly, for the electricity, we doubled the capacity. Our electricity, we were producing 24,000 megawatt. Now, after 3 years, we are 52,000 megawatt. So it means that our consumption is 33. It means that we have a surplus with 19,000 megawatt. So we have a surplus in electricity. Gas, we have a new discovery in the deep area on the Mediterranean Sea. All the infrastructures that we are talking about necessary for any development and to play the role as a hub for trade and investment are in place. This is the first thing we started with, is to work on the infrastructures. Secondly, we have different type of infrastructure, legislative infrastructures. What is legislative infrastructures? That we have already reviewed all the laws and regulations related to doing business in Egypt. So we found that many laws has to be reviewed, many laws has to be amended, many laws has to be changed. So we started one by one. Why? Because we have a clear goal to make our business environment is more conducive and more attractive. How we do that? So we start to align ourselves with the international fundamental and principle like World Bank, UNCTAD, and we start to benchmark ourselves with other countries in order to make the investment environment is very global one, whereby once you decided to do investment in here, you are living in a very convenient environment where everything has to be easy in a way to make your life is easy in Egypt. And third one is to streamline the procedures. How to streamline the procedures? So we made what's so-called Investor Service Center. This centers, we collected all the governmental related entity under one body, under one ceiling, under control of one entity, where you stop at one place and you get your service done within maybe a couple of hours. So, and all the representatives from those governmental entities are empowered, are entitled to take a decision. These are the main fundamentals and principles that we worked out on our strategy in order to make Egypt as a hub for trade and investment. And the coming slides, I will show you what happened. So here, if you look at here in 2011, where we have the first uprising, our economic indicators dropped significantly. By 2014, when the president came to the office, that was the first sign of political stability. And you can see that our GDP has already grown significantly and start to grow steadily. But due to some currency shortage, we didn't grow for the year after. But after we floated the currency, you can see that we grown by 5.2%. And obviously, we're expecting this year to close by nearly 6%. That is to show you that the progress of the reform that we have already applied. This also to give you the structures of the FDI come to the country. And this is also some of the economic indicators, which I believe it's very important to understand what happened, but due to the limitation of the time, so I have to pass this one. So coming here to, it's a very important point, which is why Egypt? We have here, during these sessions, I have heard trade connectivity and how to connect East and West. So Egypt is located at a very strategic location with the Suez Canal waterway, the only direct connection between Indian Ocean and the Mediterranean Sea. Egypt or the Suez Canal remain the only direct connections. So it means the location is a unique location, and given the fact that this location lies among 3 continents. So we are a part of Africa, we are very proximate to AU, and we are next to Asia. So the location is very prime and very strategic. And add to here, if you look at here also, we have already spoken about Gawadir Airport. And talking about the trade connectivity, the supply chain management. So we have, as I told you, we have a very strategic location where you can connect your country or your product can be connected to any place in the world if you decided to be located there. But if you connect yourself with Gawadir, I think the supply chain between the both countries, we have a massive opportunity. In Egypt, we have a lot of opportunities that we can share with our partner in Pakistan, where if we make some joint ventures, either in Gawadir or in Suez Canal Special Economic Zone, that areas of logistic and supply chain can help both countries to boost their businesses, to boost the trade, to boost the investment relation between the 2 countries. And then access to the large market. Our population is the 2nd largest population in the entire Middle East and Africa. We are also having access to many surrounding clusters like Arab countries, Africa through Comesa, North Africa through Agadir, with European Union through Egyptian-European partnership, and with United States. In total, we have a huge market accessibility. So you can access to huge markets with either low cost or the minimum cost of accessing to those markets. So that is also one of the privilege for Egypt to be look at a possible destination for investment. Secondly, then we have here the large pool of trained and people, and that is also because our population is over 100. And there are many factors that also can encourage you to look at Egypt as possible destination, but I would like to go forward because I have only a couple of minutes. This is very important figures to look at. One of the comparative advantages of Egypt is the cost of doing business. Cost of labor, cost of utilities, cost of electricity, water, sewage, and gas. If you compare this cost to any country in the world, by far, Egypt the most competitive country on earth when it comes to the cost of doing business. This is very important report. You know JETRO, this is Japanese External Trade Association. They made a survey among all Japanese companies in Africa. They asked them where to invest. Most of them, they said that in 2017, they said that Morocco was the best location, but their expectation for the year 2018, Egypt the best location to go and to invest. Also, this is some of the international recognition by some of the credit rating organizations. They already rated Egypt as one of the stable and positive, and has a positive outlooks as well. So investment climate, as I already highlighted in the beginning, that we already spend too much time in reviewing all laws and regulation. And we came out with the new investment law. That law helps investors to operate smoothly and easy with less obstacle that he might face. So we already searched and investigated all the obstacles that the previous investor used to have, and we already consider it in the new law. And now the new law has a lot of privilege and incentives. I will just come some of this because I just have only 2 to 3 minutes. So this is the guarantees. Among the guarantees, that the money generated out of running business here, you can transfer it back to your home country with no taxes, no custom, nothing to be imposed, with no restrictions. You can hire whatever, nobody can interfere, no nationalization, no confiscation, nothing at all. So all your investment here will be protected by law. And here the incentives, the new investment law already came with a package of incentives, which we divided the country in 2 areas, Zone A and Zone B. Zone A, you get 50% of your total investment refunded or redeemed. So if you invested 10 million, the government will refund back 50% of what you already invested. If you located in Zone A, if you located in Zone B, you will also refund it, but not 50%, only 30% of the total capex that you already invested in Egypt. So this is one of the privileges that the new investment law already brought to the investors, where you can give you a lot of benefit. You cannot get it also in some other countries. And here, to streamline the procedures, I already highlighted because of the investor service centers. And here, investment regimes, which is, we are trying to be resilient, and we are trying to be more diversified. So if you are pure export-oriented, so mostly we are recommended you to go for the free zone, where it's tax-free and custom-free. If you are targeting the local market, then you have investment zones, where it's also very modern, and the system is already designed to operate in a very convenient environment. If you are to export part of your production, and the remaining will be sold to the domestic market, so we have the special economic zone in the perfect model where you can put your investment in. And here also these tables give you a clear comparison between what is the difference between free zones and special economic zone and investment zones. What are the privileges? What are the incentives? What are the difference between them? This is to summarize what is the difference. If you go this one, what is the benefit or what is the merit of putting your investment in the free zone or the special economic zone? And finally, this is the one-stop shop for Investor Service Center, where we have already, as I told you in the beginning, we are benchmarking Egypt to be the best country offering this service, because we launched online registration, and the electronic signature is already, the law of electronic signature has been approved, where you can register your company online. And it takes maximum 2 to 3 working days to get your company registered. How? Because, as I told you before, we brought all the governmental related entities under one ceiling, under control of the Ministry of Investment and International Cooperation, whereby you stop at one place, you get your license in maybe maximum 3 working days, and we have a VIB services, you get it in 2 hours. If you want to apply a company, you can register your company in 2 hours. This is for the VIB services. And finally, we have also created a very new mechanism, which is dispute settlement. Maybe if you face the problem with any governmental entity or even with the local company, so we don't want you to go through the normal dispute channels where you go to court. So we have created also another platform that is the Dispute Settlement Committee, which is headed by the Minister of Justice. If you face a problem, they are holding the meeting on a weekly basis. They give a resolution, and this resolution is mandatory to all governmental entities. So your problem can be sorted in a couple of days instead of going to the very complicated way of dealing with court. Here we have all the key sectors. It's represented here. I don't want to go one by one, but we have numerous opportunities available. Here, I just want to stop for less than 1 minute. It's very important for you to, if you want to learn more about Egypt, we have developed what's called investment map, digital investment map. What is digital investment map? This map is investinegypt.gov.eg. You just put this the link, and then if you access to that map, then you get a numerous amount of information about Egypt, how to do business, which opportunities available, which sector, which mega project, who is the owner of the landlord, how far from the port, how far from the residential area, what is the unemployment rate in the surrounding area. All the fundamental and the necessary information for making the investment decisions, you can find it on that map. So all what you have to do is, from where you are in Pakistan, you are in London, you are in the United States, wherever you are, you just put this link, and then you get all the information. This information is fundamental. If you need further information, there is an interface where you can find somebody from our team standing and receiving and replying to your inquiry. And finally, I would like to thank you for giving me the opportunity, and thank you for giving too much time, but thank you very much. Thank you.
Mr. Zuhair, thank you so much. I think you helped us to answer why Egypt. Because when we started the summit, everybody said, why Egypt? So I think he's given us 100 reasons as to why Egypt. But the most important reason is that they are the world connectors. And that's where the world will take us, if we take it. Now I will request General Samrez to please kindly come forward and take us from Gwadar to the Suez Canal.
Ladies and gentlemen, in the transforming global order, BRI at global level and CPAC at regional level are going to be monumental changes. BRI, in my view, is indeed revival of the old Silk Route. BRI has 6 corridors involving over 100 countries and global organizations, encompassing 116 projects, over $1 trillion US. It will benefit 2/3 of the world population, 1/3 of the world GDP, and 1/4 goods and services of the world. According to Kurt Lewin model of a change of this magnitude is bound to generate a competition between enabling forces and constraining forces. Enabling forces want the change to take place, whereas constraining forces want to scuttle or retard the change. China is a force to reckon with. They are known for unbelievable changes. However, such a change will not go uncontested. Enabling as well as constraining forces are in play, and we can witness moves and counter moves. I see CPEC as a linchpin of BRI and promises growth of countries connected through maritime Silk Road from Gwadar to Suez Canal and beyond. However, viewing its dividends in isolation of the regional disparities is indeed going to be delusional, particularly for the conflict-prone South Asian region. Ladies and gentlemen, BRI, the sequence that I intend following is shown on the screen. Strategic context and an overview of CPEC, regional stability, and some concluding thoughts. BRI will serve as a connector between Europe, Africa, Central Asia, South Asia, West Asia, and Southeast Asia. Here I would like to talk about three theories which mention about global dominance. Mackinder in 1904 asserted that whosoever rules the heartland, which is also known as the word island, will be controlling the world. Contrary to that, Spikeman in 1943 suggested that whosoever controls rimland controls Eurasia and destinies of the world. And Mahan was of the view that sea power is going to be the deciding factor in the world dominance. I call BRI as a masterly stroke. One, that it seeks dominance in all three domains, that is heartland, rimland, and sea, and will also integrate economic interests of the European Union, which will have an impact on the overall global alignments. Few more aspects, strategic aspects about BRI. BRI and CPEC will mitigate geographic limitations hindering rise of China as a superpower. BRI I see as a response to US pivot to Asia policy. Out of four major global powers, that is Russia, China, EU, and US, only China will have a direct access to Indian Ocean region, and that is through CPEC. Connectivity with Suez Canal will accrue greater dividends, and China aims to redefine international relations through BRI. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I will zoom in and give you an overview about CPEC. CPEC is a linchpin, a flagship, pivotal, and early harvest project of BRI, as it involves only Pakistan, a time-tested friend of China, and cuts a distance of 12,500, around 13,000 kilometers to 2,500 kilometers for China to Persian Gulf. CPEC aims to connect Kashgar with Pakistan Gwadar port. It is critical for BRI, rise of China, and development of western regions of China, and augurs well for the growth and development of Pakistan. The investments have risen from $46 billion to $62 billion. CPEC involves comprehensive development plan encompassing 51 projects, and short-term goals up to 5 years, and long-term goals are going to take 10 to 15 years. Ladies and gentlemen, CPEC has the trade benefits for region and beyond. The road links with Russia through Central Asian republics, Middle East, Caspian and Black Sea, and EU through Iran and Turkey is going to augur well. Sea links between Suez Canal and Gwadar will, of course, twice shorten the distance which is traveled over otherwise longer routes. It has the capacity of augmenting potential of Suez Canal as trade to China, Central Asian republics, and South Asia will increase manifold. Now I zoom in further to talk of Gwadar. Few pictures. the city itself, a view of the road, another view of the road, nature at its best, and this is something important, a national statue right close to Gwadar, which is known as Princess of Hope. Gwadar connects many of the regions of the globe, which I've already mentioned, and Port of Gwadar enjoys a pivotal and unique status. I would say the geographic location coupled with the cargo handling capacity affords it an unparalleled significance. And in my view, Gwadar is a sine qua non for CPAC. CPAC in turn is sine qua non for BRI, and BRI is a sine qua non for Rise of China. Let's see what Robert D. Kaplan has to say about Gwadar. If you can think of great place names of past, that is Carthage, Thebes, Troy, Samarkand, Angkor Wat, and of the present, that is Dubai, Singapore, Tehran, Beijing, Washington, then Gwadar should qualify as the great place name of the future. Like any other change of this nature, there are certain opportunities and certain risks attached to CPAC. Regional connectivity will be enhanced, integration of civilization is going to be there, new and alternate trade routes will be explored, sharing of resources, cultural exchanges and tourism. It is going to have solidifying impact on the Federation of Pakistan, mitigation of intra-regional conflicts, and capacity building. It is the collective responsibility of all stakeholders to mitigate the risk, and which may be probability of contestation, which is already on, regional rivalry leading to hostility, redefinition of regional security, renewed interests of extra-regional powers in our region. There are certain regional impediments also. And in that, as regards India and US, there is a convergence of interest. Both want to contain China as well as Pakistan. Whereas Iran and India are jointly developing Chabahar port as a rival port. Gulf ports have business interests in conflict, and instability in Afghanistan is going to affect the execution of CPAC. Now I will talk about the security environment of Pakistan. Okay. I have been asked to skip certain slides, but I would say that these are the areas where we have been badly affected because of war on terror, as well as the Cold War. In a nutshell, I would say that having successfully controlled the menace of terrorism, Pakistan in particular and the region in general is craving for development and growth. The environment in Pakistan is indeed ripe for exploiting CPAC-related opportunities, provided rivalry in Indian Ocean region does not transit to hostility. And why I say so, that there is a battle of ports going on in Indian Ocean region. 4 of the countries, that is Sri Lanka, Maldives, Mauritius, and Seychelles, if one port is with China, second port is with India. The region has suffered on the whole. Once CPAC is optimized, there will be a room for filling the gaps caused by regional conflict. And security of each sector is interconnected, and that can benefit from the intense security interdependence. Few concluding thoughts. Amidst the historic and phenomenal exposure of BRI, rests the rise of China as a major global power. There lies an opportunity of inferring cooperation from conflict, and the vision of BRI, of which CPAC is a linchpin, can contribute to regional and global growth. The regional economic integration through CPAC would be a harbinger to resolve political differences. And all regions of the globe can be connected. And core vision of CPAC is to improve infrastructure and to facilitate interconnectivity and economic development. And with that, I thank you very much.
Thank you, General. You'll be available for question and answers, so if there are any other ideas, they can be picked up there. Now I shall request somebody who is a distinguished guest of honor for us from China, Ms. Jian Xiang, and she is the Vice President of the China Center for International Knowledge on Development. She's also the Associate Research Fellow at the Development Research Center for the State Council. Everybody has spoken about China, has spoken about the BRI and its impact, but they say this is nothing better than the people who are actually in charge of this process. We're looking forward to hearing from you, and hopefully this is the same message of peace, connectivity, and regional development which we're looking for. Ma'am, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Dr. Maria Sultan. Your Excellency, ministers, ambassadors, ladies and gentlemen, it is my great privilege and honor to attend this summit at the invitation of Dr. Maria Sultan, Chairperson and President of Sasi University, to celebrate 70 years of Pakistan-Egypt diplomatic relations and to participate in this discussion of partnership between Pakistan and Egypt in connection to the Belt and Road Initiative. I would like to send the warmest congratulations to the two great countries and the hosts from my institution, the Development Research Center of the State Council, a top policy research and consulting institution of the Chinese government, and the China Center for International Knowledge on Development, which was proposed by President Xi at the 2015 UN Development Summit and established by DRC to promote development knowledge sharing and the UN 2030 Sustainable Development Goals. I'm also privileged to convey the congratulations from His Excellency Mr. Song Aiguo, the Chinese ambassador to Egypt, on the 70th anniversary of the diplomatic ties between Egypt and Pakistan and the success of the TIDAS 2018 event. His Excellency is not able to be present at the event due to health conditions. It has been 5 years since Chinese President Xi Jinping proposed the BRI in the autumn of 2013. Up to now, over 100 countries and international organizations have signed MOUs or agreements to jointly build the BRI. As President Xi has emphasized in many occasions, BRI is initiated by China, but it belongs to the world. It presents China's contribution to global development with the principle of common development through consultation, joint efforts, and shared benefits. This summit itself shows that BRI is a public good, that all participating countries could benefit from that. Both Egypt and Pakistan are key partners of BRI. Both countries and China are emerging economies that take development as our priority. As far as I understand, to achieve development, a country needs opportunities. We need to catch the opportunities provided by others or to create opportunities by ourselves. Over the last 40 years of reform and opening up, China has achieved remarkable progress by seizing the opportunities of economic globalization, by giving full play our comparative advantages and integrating our production into the global value chain. When the economic globalization has been losing momentum after the financial crisis in 2008, when economic globalization has been facing setbacks with the emerging protectionism from some developed countries, when the growth of trade and investment was declining, China proposed BRI. As an opportunity, China offered for common development. It is an opportunity for China to further develop towards an all-round open economy with more balanced internal regional development. And also it's an opportunity, as mentioned by many speakers, for other countries to upgrade infrastructure, connectivity, and the capacities to realize industrialization and development. In this process of common development, I think the following three aspects deserve greater efforts from all of us. First, it is vitally important to create a stable and predictable environment for investors around the world. Following the first stage of infrastructure construction, the future prosperity of CPEC, the flagship project of BRI, very much relies on the investment from private investors from China and other countries. As emphasized by His Excellency Minister Bhatia earlier, the third country investment in CPEC is also very important. Security, reliable commitment, and policy consistency are what expected by investors everywhere, and these are the goals we should work for. Second, to try our best to ensure that development benefit will benefit the people, especially the local communities, in a balanced manner. This effort is closely related and connected to the sustainable investment environment. The ultimate goal of BRI is to jointly build a community of shared future, which means life quality improvement of all people. I think government at all levels and the research institutions like us could work harder to learn about the real needs of the people and better inform the planning and major investment projects at the consultation stage. Third, continuous peer learning and knowledge sharing. I believe this event is a great platform for sharing experience and discuss solutions for common challenges, and it already covers many important topics in the agenda. One of the good topics, as also mentioned by earlier speaker, is to discuss the development of special economic zones. China's reform and opening up started from special economic zones, Shenzhen, everybody knows. And all kinds of special economic zones have played a major role in promoting export and growth in China. But a research conducted by our team at CIKD shows that the experience of China's special economic zones and those in other countries are mixed stories. There are many special economic zones being planned and developed under CPEC and along the Suez Canal. It is important to learn from each other, understand the complexity of planning and running the special economic zones. I could give an example. China-Egypt TEDA Suez Economic and Trade Cooperation Zone has been recognized by government of Egypt and the government of China as a successful case. With its output reaching $860 million and taxes reaching $58 million, and directly created 3,100 jobs for local people and 30,000 jobs in related companies. However, we cannot take it for granted that special economic zones would deliver this kind of good results automatically. The chairperson runs the TEDA special economic zones told me how hard he has tried in the last 10 years to achieve this record, and how many challenges and more efforts are needed to overcome the challenges in the future in this expansion area of the zone. So I want to say that it is important for everybody involved in development to understand what are the conditions for success and how we can learn from each other's experience. Finally, I would like to send our best wishes to the successful collaboration between Gawada and Suez Canal, and for the greater prosperity of these two great nations, Egypt and Pakistan. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Ms. Yang. I think that sets a space in terms of being not only CPAC being a connector of economies, but also a connector of people. And in this regard, I think the initiative which has been taken by our Honorable Minister recently, that after the infrastructure and energy projects phase which has been completed in Pakistan, there will be a working committee which would be working on the socio-economic development aspect of the CPAC. So the benefits of this are actually translated to the people. I think the one message which comes out from hearing all our speakers today, and as the summit also continues, it is the enormity and the scale of connectivity and the scale of opportunity. But like all opportunities, they have a certain time limit. Unless and until we do not realize it, they will not translate. And that is the story of special economic zones, and that is the story of economic development cooperation, which can only be realized by building partnerships and taking the people and their needs foremost. And for that, we are extremely grateful for the current government in Pakistan, especially the minister, for putting forward this aspect of the China-Pakistan economic corridor, and largely also for the BRI, hopefully the socio-economic aspect and that development covering up all the other phases which are leading this new transformation. Now, with these few words, there is always a need for an expert who actually tells you what is actual investment story and where does the investment curve goes. So with these few words, I would now request Ms. Farina Mazhar, who is the Executive Director General of the Board of Investment of Pakistan, to tell us the case, where we stand, what our future is, and what are the prospects. And hopefully, we can have the price stability and policy stability which is required for building stable economic structures.
Thank you so much, Maria, for giving me this opportunity to be here today, to be interacting with our Egyptian brothers and sisters, and to be discussing areas of cooperation in terms of trade and investment. Because of paucity of time, I'll try to be brief and focused. So, can I please have the presentation on? A brief introduction about my organization. The Pakistan Board of Investment is responsible for promotion and facilitation of investors in the country. We're the first point of contact for anyone who is interested in investing and doing business in Pakistan. We draft the framework for the legislative, regulatory, and policy environment for investments. We're also the Secretariat for Prime Minister's Steering Committee on Doing Business Reforms. We are the lead agency for industrial cooperation under CPEC, and also the Secretariat of Board of Approvals, responsible for granting permission for setting up of the special economic zones in the country. Next, please. Next. Situated in South Asia, Pakistan is a gateway to Central Asia, and through the Arabian Sea provides an easy access to the countries of the Middle East. It lies in the neighborhood of big markets of Asia. Among the innumerable gifts bestowed upon Pakistan by nature, perhaps one of the most important ones is its ideally and highly strategic geographical location. This ideal location makes Pakistan a natural hub for international trade and commerce. The country has a huge reserve of natural and human resources. We have a very liberal investment regime which promises huge returns on investment. Pakistan is among the few places in the world that offers land, geography, and people all at the same place. On economic front, Pakistan's macroeconomic indicators are also showing improvement. Our GDP growth rate is almost at 6% currently. Pakistan, being a tropical country, is blessed with tremendous potential for hydel, solar, biomass, and wind energy at various places. More than 51 million metallic and non-metallic minerals are available in the Balochistan province alone. These include chromite, copper, iron, lead, zinc, manganese, antimony, and gold. So far, very limited amount of these resources have been exploited. The natural wealth of Balochistan alone can be used to produce valuable goods for local market and also for exports. Likewise, there is a huge potential in our agriculture and livestock sectors. Pakistan has one of the, next please. Investment regimes, please. Pakistan has one of the most attractive investment regimes in the world, allowing foreign investors 100% repatriation of profits and easy convertibility into foreign exchange. Almost all sectors are open for investment, and there is no restriction of currency convertibility. 100% equity is allowed in all investments except for a very few sectors. We offer protection of investment against unlawful expropriation, efficient and modern seaports and airports, network of well-maintained highways and railways, competitive tax rates, and legal protection to investors makes Pakistan an ideal place for trade and investment. The new auto policy is focusing on enhancing the competitiveness of auto sector and has attracted more than 18 new entrants, which is unprecedented in the history of the country. Special economic zones, please. Next. Next. Come to slide 23, please. Slide 23. Pakistan is focusing on the development of special economic zones and on improving the business environment on fast track. Special economic zones are developed around the globe as a strategy to industrialize and accelerate economic growth. They have played a vital role in the economic development of many countries. The Special Economic Zones Act was promulgated in 2012. The purpose of this act is to facilitate domestic and foreign investors to invest in the manufacturing sector, offering them special initiatives, efficient infrastructure, tax reliefs, and a business-friendly environment, leading to a reduced cost of doing business and huge profits. The industrial clusters can be established throughout the country by the private sector, the public sector, and with public-private collaboration. 7 zones have so far been notified. Similarly, under CPAC, 9 sites have been declared as priority SEZs. With the completion of energy and infrastructure projects under CPAC, more than 10,400 megawatt electricity additional has been added to the national grid. The availability of surplus energy and better infrastructure will definitely boost more opportunities for industry and for the investors. I would like to take this opportunity to reiterate the incentives available under the Special Economic Zones Act and any additional incentives which will be allowed in the Special Economic Zones set up under CPAC will not only be China specific, they are open to the entire world. They will be available to the local investors and foreign investors from every country. On ease of doing business, enabling business environment plays a crucial role in attracting local and foreign investment in the country. To improve the business climate and competitiveness, Board of Investment, in consultation with other relevant federal and provincial governments, has chalked out a well-structured plan in order to bring more focus on improvement of business positions in global indexes. These are the Competitiveness Index and the Ease of Doing Business ranking done by the World Bank. The key reform areas include simplification of procedures for business registration, obtaining construction permits, getting electricity, land registration, trading across borders, resolving insolvency, use of alternate dispute resolution mechanism, and online payment of taxes. The trade and investment between the two countries. during the last few years has been negligible, and data on bilateral trade and investment does not depict the potential of both the countries. An MOU between Egypt and Pakistan was signed in March 2013. This MOU focuses on exchange of information, exchange of business and investment delegations, and promotion of investment in each other countries. I'm quite confident that Pakistani side and the Egyptian side will also take steps to explore Pakistan for enhancing mutual trade and investment. Next are the few areas where the investment opportunity lies. I will not go into the details because of the paucity of time. However, I would take this opportunity to tell you that our government is committed to pursue policies that are aimed at achieving high and sustainable growth rates. It is our resolve to create an attractive, fair, and competitive business environment. We know that we face many challenges, both at the macro and the micro level, before we can achieve our objectives, but we are on the right track. A positive momentum has already begun. We look ahead to making Pakistan by a really developed country using its full potential. I invite all the local and the foreign investors to take part in the reinvigoration of Pakistan's economy. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Farina, for that insightful talk. Now we are open for question and answers. We will be more than happy to take one quick round of questions. Because of the paucity of time, we will not take a second round. So if there are any questions, please raise your hand, and we shall. And also please indicate who you want the question to be addressed. Well, this seems that at this moment and this time of the day, the speakers have spoken so exhaustively that there is not much room for questions. Hence, I think we will conclude this session with few ideas which we tried to present before, but since they were presented in the morning, we will just reiterate that what is it that connects Pakistan and Egypt. And we believe that as these communication highways and subways connect, we believe that the actual economic future of the country is only going to come through that we are able to realize all these communication highways of cyber, space, air by building something which would actually connect and build up between the existing CPAC BRI framework, and that's what we would like to propose in terms of a north-south corridor between Pakistan, China, Russia, and most importantly, in the end, Suez Canal. With these few words, I thank you all, and I would just request that we see as this BRI map unfolds in front of you that the north-south corridor is something which will connect us together if we're able to bring in better supply chain stabilities between ourselves. So with these few words, I thank you all and all the speakers, and hopefully now we'll just take a 5-minute break and we'll run into the next session so that we can cover up for the time. Please give them a big round of applause